3位前辈，请诸位先随我入山。
一鸣，你听好了，那些医术，还有我教你的口诀，要好好学。
Outside the sea of azure mist, Hanli stood with the elderly man, surnamed Ma from the High Firmament Pavilion, and Gu Shuangpu of the Royal Spirit Sect, observing the grand formation. Worried that the Mulan forces would arrive soon, the three of them had traveled day and night to reach this place ahead of the other core formation cultivators. Knowing that they would later have to rely on this formation to resist the enemy, they carefully assessed the power of its restrictions. Hanli, in particular, activated his eyes, which flickered with blue light, to examine the vast sea of mist in detail. Before long, a passage opened within the sea of mist. The twin Murong brothers and Li Yingning flew out to welcome them. Hanli introduced himself as an elder of the Luo Yun sect, before introducing his two companions. He also warned them that the formation had already been activated, indicating that the Mulan army might arrive at any moment. Upon learning that the twin men were the Murong brothers of Huangfeng Valley, Hanli asked about their senior martial sister Nie. The two were greatly surprised that Hanli knew her. He explained that he had met senior martial sister Nie not long ago, and had also encountered the two brothers many years earlier. Although they did not recognize him at first, the longer they looked at him, the more familiar he seemed. However, given the urgency of the situation, Hanli temporarily set aside their reminiscences and entered the formation with the others. Li Yingning led Hanli to a secluded small pavilion where low-ranking disciples were normally forbidden from entering. Before leaving, the female cultivator asked about Nie Ying, as it was Nie Ying who had introduced her to the blade transformation stronghold. Finding her eyes and facial features strangely familiar, Hanli suddenly called out the name Li Yingning and asked about her background. The female cultivator confirmed that her mother was Mo Yuju, a native of Yue Nation. When Hanli asked about the spirit communication, jade pendant, she took out a piece of white jade that she had carried with her since childhood. Upon seeing this relic from the past, Hanli was overcome with emotion as old memories resurfaced. He then confirmed that Li Yingning was indeed the daughter of his old acquaintance Mo Yuju. In the novel, Li Yingning is Mo Yuju's daughter. The Mo family had 3 sisters, one of whom was adopted. In the animated adaptation, Li Yingning calls Mo Kaiwan aunt, but the story only identifies her as a descendant of the Mo family without specifying whose daughter she is. In any case, she is a descendant of Dr. Mo, the man who accepted Hanli as his disciple before attempting to seize his body. Mo Yuju had once told her daughter that the jade pendant was a gift from a cultivator friend, but she never revealed Hanli's identity. Since Hanli had joined the Luo Yun sect only a few years ago and had not previously cultivated in Yue Nation, Li Yingning had been unable to discover his whereabouts. Hanli was also surprised that she had joined the Blade Transformation Stronghold instead of the Royal Spirit Sect. From Li Yingning's account, he learned that she knew almost nothing about her father's identity. When she was young, both her father and maternal grandfather met with misfortune, leaving Mo Yuju to flee Yue Nation with her daughter. The mother and daughter wandered for some time, before finally settling within the territory of the 9 Nations Alliance. Hanli suspected that her family might have become embroiled in an internal struggle among the Devil Dao factions. Yue Nation was currently controlled by the Ghost Spirit Sect, rather than the Royal Spirit Sect, which might explain why her parents had suffered such a calamity. However, seeing that Li Yingning knew nothing about the matter, he chose not to elaborate. Hanla returned the jade pendant and explained that, before embarking upon the path of cultivation, he had once been regarded as something of a senior martial brother to Mo Yuju. Therefore, Li Yingning could address him as Uncle Master Han. Although initially somewhat bewildered, she happily addressed him as such, delighted to have suddenly gained a nascent soul stage senior. Unwilling to mistreat the daughter of an old acquaintance, Hanli gave her 2 bottles of medicinal pills capable of helping core formation cultivators break through cultivation bottlenecks. Li Yingning was overjoyed and sincerely thanked him. Hanli then asked about the magic treasure she was using. Li Yingning explained that her treasure was a flying blade refined from blazing flame iron and profound crystal essence, and that it possessed considerable power. Hanli remarked that such a magic treasure would be sufficient during peaceful times, but it could not guarantee her safety in the coming battle against the Mulan Spell Warrior army. Nevertheless, she no longer had enough time to refine and assimilate a new magic treasure. After pondering for a moment, Han Li released a swarm of tri-colored gold-devouring beetles. He separated a small portion of them and used an incantation gesture to condense them into a tri-colored sphere, the size of a fist. He handed the sphere to Li Yingning and instructed her to simply throw it at the enemy whenever she encountered danger, as it might save her life. This precious treasure dispelled the last traces of doubt in Li Yingning's heart. She understood that Han Li would never have bestowed so many valuable items upon her so generously if he had not truly shared a connection with her mother. Finally, Han Li asked her to leave so that he could rest and restore the magic power he had expended during the long journey. Li Yingning warmly told him to recuperate without worry and promised to report to him immediately should the Mulan spell warrior army appear.
陆兄此前销声匿迹多年，不想竟在此造这巧夺天工之法。
武云鹤道友已从天台谷返回，眼下正在山脚布阵。
Inside the main hall of Huanglong Mountain, the large man surnamed Lu joyfully welcomed the elderly man surnamed Ma and Gu Shuangpu. He was also introduced to Han Li, a cultivator, who had only recently entered the nascent soul stage. Although he was briefly disappointed by Han Li's youth and recent advancement, he still sincerely thanked the three for coming to reinforce them. If he were left to defend the mountain alone, Huanglong Mountain would struggle to withstand the Mulan army for more than a few days. According to the latest reports, Tiantai Valley had already fallen, Bu Tuozi had been defeated, and the Mulan army was advancing directly toward Huanglong Mountain. The large man surnamed Lu asked the three nascent soul cultivators to rescue the retreating cultivators of the Nine Nations Alliance. The elderly man surnamed Ma volunteered for the mission, wishing to test the power of a newly acquired ancient treasure, while the Murong brothers were assigned to accompany him as guides and provide support. While waiting, Han Li returned to his secluded chamber to cultivate a type of purple devil flame created by combining the Genlan ice flame with the glacial chi of the six-winged frost centipede. He named it the Purple Apex Flames. These flames were even more powerful than the Ganlan ice flame. Even a late nascent soul stage cultivator would find them difficult to dispel once they took hold. However, their quantity was still far too limited for Han Li to rely on them completely. What Han Li anticipated most was opening the Heaven Void Cauldron. If this divine spirit treasure was truly as powerful as Silvermoon claimed, he would possess enough strength to roam the southern heavenly region unhindered. Not long afterward, the elderly man surnamed Ma returned with Bu Yunhe and the surviving cultivators from Tiantai Valley. Bu Yunhe had sustained serious injuries and brought troubling news. The Mulan army was exceptionally well organized this time, with at least 3 Grand Sage-level experts. They had also brought along an enormous armored ancient beast that had been enhanced by numerous restrictive techniques, while Bu Yunhe was being restrained by 2 Grand Sages. This monster had personally shattered Tiantai Valley's grand formation. Gu Shuangpu proposed that the 5 nascent soul cultivators join forces and launch a preemptive strike, but Bu Yunhe warned that the enemy might still be concealing additional experts. Most noteworthy was a spell warrior whose aura was strangely demonic, resembling that of a transformed demon beast. Faced with this situation, the large man surnamed Lu decided to rely on Huanglong Mountain's grand formation to mount a defensive stand, buying time for the forces behind them to prepare. His swift and orderly command made Han Li understand why the 9 Nations Alliance had entrusted him with the crucial responsibility of defending this position.
可又是一个老东西，原来是没人了吧？天台谷老夫吃的亏，今日都要你们还回来！
Immediately afterward, the thunderous beating of war drums echoed across the battlefield. The densely packed Mulan army appeared, riding all manner of magic tools as they surrounded the sea of azure mist enveloping Huanglong Mountain. At their head stood more than 10 high-grade spell warriors. The most conspicuous among them were Qiu Yao, who was encircled by a fiery serpent, a tall, thin man resembling a bamboo stalk, and a spell warrior concealed within a screen of black light, radiating demonic qi amid the chilling wails of ghosts. The Mulan experts were gathered around a black-robed figure known as Mr. Tiangku. Although he appeared to hold a status equal to theirs, those around him regarded him with a mixture of fear, respect, and disgust. When Han Li's group of 7 emerged from the Grand Formation to investigate, Han Li immediately took notice of Mr. Tianku. The man's aura reminded him of Master Xuanggu, leading him to suspect that this was an extremely dangerous ghost cultivator. Q. Yao, a Grand Sage of the Fire, Worship Tribe flew forward to issue a challenge, allowing the Southern Heavenly Region cultivators to choose between individual duels and an all-out melee. The large man surnamed Lu chose one-on-one combat with life and death left to fate. Provoked by Q Yao's arrogance, the elderly man surnamed Ma immediately stepped forward to fight. Using his eyes that flickered with blue light, Han Li detected something unusual about the fiery serpent surrounding Q Yao and secretly warned the elderly man surnamed Ma. Sure enough, Q Yao admitted that it was not a spirit beast, but a heaven and earth fire spirit that he had refined. Under his control, the fiery serpent sprouted horns and claws, transforming into a fire worm covered in crimson scales. The fire spirit's ability to transform demonstrated that Q Yao's fire attribute abilities far surpassed those of an ordinary Grand Sage. Realizing that he was facing a formidable opponent, the elderly man surnamed Ma no longer dared to hold back. He circulated the vast righteous Qi technique to protect his body, summoned a silver ruler, and then brought out his newly acquired ancient treasure, a pale golden scroll depicting the 8 trigrams diagram. Once activated, the scroll erupted with 5-colored light and released astonishing fluctuations of spiritual power. Sensing the treasure's formidable might, Q Yao immediately struck first. The fire worm opened its mouth and unleashed a surging sea of crimson flames. In the blink of an eye, both the elderly man surnamed Ma and the 8 trigrams diagram were completely engulfed. The first fierce battle between the two sides had officially begun.